Cause the haters gonna hate. That's right, baby. Call me Taylor Swift, because in today's video, we are hating on some backpacking gear. Now, I'm sure some of you will absolutely love the pieces of gear that I suggest ditching, and that is absolutely fine. You can let me know in the comments just how wrong I am, but I thought I could offer you some alternatives to the gear that I don't really love. Now, the first one being, even though this is an absolutely awesome beanie, it is made of acrylic, and this also goes for cotton. Doesn't do a super great job of insulating once I get it wet. Doesn't dry super great. So what I do is, I don't wear that out on the trail. I take this beanie, which is made of Polartech fabric. It is made by Richard Stewart, who's one of the subscribers on this channel, and I will link his Etsy shop below if you want to check it out, any of these hats that he makes. But this thing is double layered. It is a nice fit on my head because it doesn't mash my glasses into my ears. It's not super tight. Or if you're a true ultralighter, you can go with the thin version, the single layer, and rock this while you're out on trail. But these things, in my opinion, are much better than the acrylic or the cotton beanies that you could buy from other places. Our second piece of gear to ditch is any sleeping pad like this Neo Air X-Lite that tapers at the feet. Now, if this is all I have, I'm gonna take it out on trail, and if that's what's in my budget, that is perfectly fine. But if you are in the market for a sleeping pad, shop around a little bit. I went with the Nemo Tensor Alpine version because it's a rectangular shape. Whenever I wake up, my feet are hanging off of this tapered pad. That's a problem because they get cold. There's no more insulation. This thing does a great job of insulating me, but it's just not wide enough for what I want. So I prefer rectangular shape, like 25 inches wide, and I get the long version because I'm 6'3", but obviously you can get whatever is gonna fit your needs. The third piece of gear to ditch would be a water bladder. Now, the only time I really take these on trail is if I know I'm gonna be dry camping, which means there's no water source whenever I get to my campsite. So I'll fill up this 2-liter platypus bladder before I get to my campsite at the last water source that I get to, and that gives me a little extra water to get me through the night and the next morning. Now, my problem is I've had these to leak before, so I always keep them on the outside of my backpack. And plus the sleeve on the inside of your pack, that's like along your back, it's really awkward to put these things in and out of that sleeve whenever your backpack is actually packed up. Another thing is, I like to bring electrolyte mixes with me to keep me hydrated while I'm out on trail, because you know your boy's out there sweating and putting in the work. It is really hard to, one, just pour the drink mix in here, and two, very hard to get the ratio right of how I want it to taste. So I typically will just stop at a gas station on the way and get me a Smart Water bottle or a Life Water. And the drink mixes that I use, they're made by Element. This is a sample pack of them. It has, I'll just read them off to you real quick. Mango chili, it's a little spicy. Lemon habanero, another spicy. Chocolate salt, that's my favorite one in the morning. It's kind of like a protein shake. They got watermelon salt, orange salt, raw and unflavored. If you don't want that flavor in there, raspberry salt, which is my favorite in the afternoons, and then citrus salt. Element's today's video sponsor, and they keep you hydrated because there's no added sugars. It just has sodium, potassium, and magnesium in there to get you boosted up. Now, I will tell you that every order that you place, it comes with a sample pack, so you can try them on. You can either buy them by the 30 pack, like here's a big pack of raspberry salt, or you can pick out 4 different ones and get you 120 count and try those. But I absolutely love them. My wife, she's been bumming them off of me because I have a couple box of them, and I want to link them in the description below. So click that link. It is drinkelement.com/Jeremiah. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Jeremiah. And like I said, check them out, get yourself rehydrated so you can keep fueling your way through the trail. The fourth piece of gear that I have ditched, you can see I got 2 of them because I tried it twice. It is the Katadyn Be-Free filter. These things, whenever I first saw them, it was whenever I was on the long trail. This is a few years ago. I was through hiking it, and my Sawyer squeeze was not getting the job done. And I think what had happened was I had ran some water in here to back flush it that had a bunch of calcium in it, and then it stopped it up because it was just tap water. So one of my buddies had a Be-Free, and it flowed like crazy until it didn't. And then I got one, tried it, it stopped up. I got another one, the bag busted on me. I said I'm throwing these in the trash and I'm going back to the Sawyer squeeze and not going to screw it up myself this time. I also, for the last year or so, have been using the Platypus Quick Draw. This thing is awesome. Plus, it's got a little cap that you can screw on. So, you know, you got to sleep with your filter if it's going to be freezing temperatures outside. The little caps on both ends keep this from leaking water in your sleeping bag. I also am going to throw in a little bonus here to toss out. It is the Sawyer Micro. This thing, I think it's absolute trash. Sorry if you like it, but I say toss it. Sawyer, I'd say just start over when it comes to the Micro. It's no good. The fifth piece of gear will probably ruffle the most feathers. I have good things and bad things to say, but it is an alcohol stove. I got paint thinner here as my fuel. The alcohol stove weighs almost nothing. It's ultra light. So if that's your jam, this may be the pick for you. This is made out of a beer can, so it's basically free. You can make them out of tuna cans, cat food cans, that kind of stuff. There's a million videos online of how to make your own alcohol stove. So it'll save you some money, but you put the fuel in there and you light it, and then somebody kicks it over, you accidentally knock it over, and then there's flames everywhere because that alcohol is burning. So I've seen some people almost get seriously burned while they're out on trail, and then you're panicking, you're trying to put the fire out. It's just a bad situation. Now, canister stoves, that's my alternative. They're not all sunshine and rainbows though. I got two here. They're heavier than the alcohol stove. You got to carry a canister with you as well, and I have to have a lighter to light it just like the alcohol stove. But this is the Pocket Rocket Deluxe by MSR, and this thing will boil water a lot faster than the alcohol stove. Now, it's not as quiet. It's called Pocket Rocket for a reason, but I would consider this kind of top of the line if you're just wanting to boil water and not cooking a lot of different stuff. This is the upgrade, the Pocket Rocket Deluxe, and it is my favorite backpacking stove. It's got a much wider burner on it. It's got a striker on it, so until this thing goes out, I don't have to have a lighter to light this Pocket Rocket Deluxe. Also, that big burner helps heat things evenly. So if I bring a little 8-inch backpacking skillet and throw me a steak in there, this burner is going to do a much better job of evenly spreading out that heat. So I would suggest doing the canister stoves. If you can't afford the more expensive ones, maybe check out a budget option like the BRS. Number 6, staying in the kitchen, I would ditch your flimsy, foldable little sporks. This spork is made by MSR, and I almost broke one of them. I had a couple of these, and I said, what the heck, MSR? Y'all made such a good stove, and then here you are throwing this trash to me on your little folding spoon. Also, my favorite cook kit comes with this spoon. It's made by GSI, and it'll just go limp on you. Look at that. It has this little folding feature so it doesn't take up as much room, which is great, but then here you are eating your mashed potatoes and they're getting all stuck inside the hinge compartment, and then you accidentally release it, and then you got a limp little spork on your hands, which is no fun. So I use a long handle spoon. I prefer the polished ones because the texture just feels better whenever you're eating, but these long handle spoons, they're great. They'll reach down deep into those backpacking meals if you are doing like rehydration meals. You can also cut those in half so that you have a more shallow bowl to eat out of if you don't want to ziplock the bag back up. But I'll link a couple of these long handle spoons, my favorite, maybe my second favorite, in the description if you want to check them out. They're pretty inexpensive and there's a bunch of different options. Our 7th piece of gear to ditch, you know, they are sometimes a deal. I bought a whole set of these Stanley cook pots at Walmart, and I thought, you know, $20 and I'm getting 3 cook pots, but these things, they're heavy, they're thick. It does have a little handle on it, but kind of melted on me. I say you don't have to go with the cheap Walmart Stanley cook pot. You don't have to go with the big, bulky, heavy ones. In fact, you can spend about the same amount of money if you're on a heavy budget there by buying something off Ali or AliExpress. This one that I got, it's made by Moby Garden. It's a titanium cook pot. Now it's not gonna hold much, so maybe just some water or maybe some ramen or something in there. Or my alternative is my absolutely favorite kitchen whole set. It comes with a little bag that also doubles as a sink apparently. I've never used it for that, but it's made by GSI Outdoors. It comes with that spoon that I just showed you. I've bought a couple of these because I lost the lid to one, but there's a little limp spoon I was talking about. You got the lid that's got some holes, so if you want to drain water, I don't know, I guess spaghetti, if you make spaghetti in here, you want to put the lid on and pour some out. It also comes with the cup, and the cup has a little sleeve on it, which is awesome because then you can put your coffee in here and it's not going to burn your hand. And if you turn the lid upside down that goes on the cook pot, it snaps into place, and then you have a little mug to drink from. Now the coffee will go cold, not super quick, but a little faster than I would like. But this thing it's awesome. You just gotta, I guess, not linger too long on the coffee. And then obviously you got the cook pot too. And this thing weighs less than the Stanley cook pot that I showed you. It's got markings on the inside, so you know how much water that you're pouring in there if you're maybe making, I don't know, one of those dehydration meals. And it's got a non-stick coating on it. So all around, just a good deal. It all kind of fits together. And you can fit a canister in here for your stove. And you can put your stove in there, your spork, if you want to use one of those folding ones that actually fits. I also throw a towel in here. So we'll put that back in here in its little stuff sack / dishwashing case. And we'll set that aside because that's all the gear that I'm ditching. But I wanted to hear your opinions below, and I wanted you to comment and tell me what other gear would you suggest ditching whenever you're headed out on the trail. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give me one of these, subscribe to the channel, and kick that notification bell for the latest notifications. We'll see you in the next one.